So, where did you work before you joined Happy?
So before I joined Happy, I was a store manager in a very popular coffee chain. And I'd been there for 12 years.
Wow, a long time.
Yes, very long time.
So what then attracted you to working for Happy and to leaving your work at the coffee chain?
I was beyond ready to leave the coffee chain by the end of it. But I came across the Happy Manifesto, and like the principles really resonated with me, and kind of like it addressed every frustration I had with my
Mm.
job at the time. And so when I read it, I was like, oh, I need to be happy.
Oh,
And it just so happened that around that time, a vacancy came up. And so I applied, and here we are,
oh. It's
coming up
obviously
to two
meant to
years
be.
later. It was. It was serendipitous.
Oh. So, what was your initial role at Happy and what was your first 3 months and your probation at Happy like?
So I got hired at Happy as an account manager for the IT team. Um, yeah. So when I first joined, well, for one, the interview process was the most fun
Yeah.
interview process I'd been to. So it was a really enjoyable day. And then sort of starting at Happy, what really kind of resonated with me was just how prepared everyone was for me to join. So like the training plan that was in place, I was like super organized, super structured. I'd never encountered that before. It was usually my previous roles. It's like, oh yeah, turn up and figure it out. So it was kind of nice that I had been thought of,
Yeah.
even as part of that process. So yes, that was a very big thing, and just the level of support. I met my M&M, my mentor multiplier, on the first day, and just having that ongoing support as well as the support from my team was really, really nice.
Oh, sounds ideal.
It was. It
So,
still is.
good. So also as well, you said that the interview was really enjoyable. So I wondered what about it you enjoyed and what the process was like.
Yeah, so I had two interviews. The first one was a group interview at Happy, and we essentially played some games, did some role play, kind of around what the job was involved. So like, how would you respond to this email? That kind of exercise. How would you handle conflicting, issues on the day? So those kind of real life examples that kind of gave me more of an insight into the role. And then the second interview was I met with Kathy actually, and Sabina, over Zoom. And what was really nice was I got asked to think about a quote that represented me, which was again really different.
Yeah,
So
that
like
is.
just taking the time out to actually think about, how would I summarize myself?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was really different. And so because like I had that to think about, that was kind of the opener. It was less stressful, if
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah. So it was kind
that
of like
makes
a
sense.
relaxing way to start the interview, where it's not like, oh my gosh, they're all staring at me. Like it was it was an
Yeah.
opportunity to kind of introduce myself in a non-traditional way, which was quite nice.
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. I like
Yeah.
that. So, at Happy, as you know, we obviously have the action groups, which is our sort of project groups. So which ones have you been involved with since you joined Happy, and what do you like about them?
All right. So I joined quite a few. So I joined the automated emails action group, which is all around um, the processes around making our emails automated, making them look nice and sound appropriate, and all that good stuff. I'm also part of the strengths action group, which is centered around making sure that we are working to our strengths, and if not, kind of just address that. So it's a good place to kind of reflect.
Mm.
I'm also a part of the recruitment action group, which I am very excited about, and as well as the community action group, which I co-lead.
Wow,
Yeah,
very exciting.
it's
And what's
very,
the
very exciting.
community action group?
So the community action group is focused on how Happy can help out our local community. And so actually recently we spent the morning at a homeless shelter, just supporting with sorting out clothes. And so we're looking at how we can support our community long term and actually have an impact where we are. Yeah,
That sounds great.
that's very
Really
exciting.
interesting. Yeah. So you're obviously very busy with action groups, but you've also recently become a mentor and a multiplier, which is what we call our people managers. So how did this come about?
So we had a round of Leaders of the Future program. Was it last year? Yes, some point last year. And I got nominated to be a future leader at Happy, which
Wow.
was unexpected because at the time I'd been at Happy for less than a year. And so
Yeah.
it was kind of really encouraging to see actually that my leadership qualities were being recognized,
Yeah.
which no one ever gets promoted or, considered a leader, less than a year into their
Yeah.
role. So yeah, so that was very unique and really exciting, and I felt really honored. So yeah, so that's how it happened.
Yeah. It's really exciting. Like you say, especially what a boost when you've been in a company for such a short period of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well done. So, final question then. What do you like about working for Happy?
So many things. I think the biggest one is just the level of trust
Mm.
and autonomy that I have in my role. That I am trusted. That A, I know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
B, that I do it in a timely and a reasonable fashion. Yeah, that level of trust has been really, really liberating. Just knowing that no one's like standing over my shoulder, like, oh, you should do it this way,
Mm.
um, is really nice. And I feel like it's really encouraged me to thrive and take ownership of my role a lot more, and take ownership of my development as well, because it's very much up to me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. That sounds great. Well, we're very glad to have you, Rebecca.
You.
And thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me.
No problem. You're most welcome.